Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to my point of view. My last post was removed. It was removed stating that I said something along the lines of fraudulent election. Now somebody's probably going to flag this one. I'm not going to even discuss it, okay? I don't know what happened. They refused to investigate it. I don't know what happened. The only thing I said was that many voters got complacent and thought because their neighbors were voting for whoever they was going to vote for that they didn't have to vote because their neighbors were voting the same person they wanted in. Somehow that got misconstrued. We cannot be complacent. I never said one thing that would even insinuate fraud in the election. Not one thing. That video has been removed. And I'm pretty sure because I said those words, this one here will probably be pulled too. So, yes, video deleted because I was worried about complacency. Complacency. And I'm sorry I'm shaking like a leaf. My arms and legs are killing me right now. I had 2 inches of slush to remove from roadways today, and my snowblower was not liking it. It was clogging up, and so I had to fix it quite often today. Do not get complacent when it comes to elections. Make sure you go in, you vote, you cast your ballot. I don't care if it's mail-in. I'd rather not see mail-in unless you absolutely can't get to the poll, because mail-in is a pretty easy way to be cheated. And they're probably going to pull this video, and at this point I don't really care, because the truth needs to be out there. I did not say that there was any type of voter fraud whatsoever. If you're looking for evidence, you're not going to find it here, because I've looked for evidence, I've found evidence, but the courts overturned that. So yes, there was no voter fraud due to the court system. All right, I will be completely 100% clear. There was no voter fraud by the court. Even though there seems to be every fucking election, which is beside the point. YouTube doesn't want me to say it, so I'm not going to say it. There was no voter fraud. Okay? So this is not an apology video, because I did not say that there was any in the last video. I said do not become complacent. Do not expect your neighbors, because they're voting the way that you want to vote, that the 1,000 neighbors that you have clear down the street in the city are going to vote the way you want to vote too. You're going to have to stand up, and you're going to have to vote for yourself. You cannot be complacent. Another thing that I said that seemed to tickle everybody is nobody's perfect. There's a lot of people that are close, it seems. Nobody wants to run for office if they're that way, but yeah, I know I'm not perfect. Hell, I'm far from it. I still haven't even started on that, and I got all the parts for it, but I've been busy because I did not know this, but the tire company that I got my tires from, even though I looked up the Pennsylvania state law and it says this is illegal, they did this to my tires. They glued my tires to the rims. I got a brand new tire from Walmart. I am still trying to break the bead, because these tires, there's no tread left. There's very little tread left. I put the best tires I could on the front. I've got no spare underneath of there right now. And I'm having trouble putting this tire on this rim, because these guys, and in Pennsylvania it is illegal, and it states right there in the book, do not glue tires. It is illegal. They glued my tires at a tire shop. Oh my God. The only way to get a tire off that's glued is you got to cut it off or you got to burn it off. And I tell you what, it takes forever with a little buzz saw with a hacksaw blade on it to get in there and cut those steel bands so that the tire can release from the rim, so that way that glue can be pried off of there. And I do mean pried. It takes a lot to get that glue off there. Then once I get the glue off of there, I got to go through and polish the daggone wheel in order to get a new tire on there. Yeah, needless to say, I'm very upset about that. Because if I would have known that they wanted to glue my tires, I'd have told them no. No, do not glue my tires. And this is why. It's because I don't want to fight for 3 days to change one tire. I want to fight for a half an hour, pop the bead off, and then put the new tire on. But this is supposed to be a my point of view video, and I am going to talk today about January 6th. So you're going to get a little bit of a longer video, and I'm trying to hold this thing stable. You're going to get a little bit of a longer video than normal. And it's because I have to go back through and talk about the removal of my previous video due to something that I did not say. I even said the exact words of, I don't know if there was or I don't know if there wasn't. I could not prove either way, and I do not have the paperwork to back it up, so I am not even going to try. And if they pull this video, they pull this video. Then I'll just have to repost something else. But I even sent it up for review and said that that was taken completely out of context. The context was complacency about voting. Not there was any type of misdoing. So I'm going to make that perfectly clear in this video, and if they want to pull this video, I'm going to tell them flat out, look, YouTube, now you're liable. And that will be base evidence in court, and I've already talked to a lawyer about it. Because if I didn't say it, and YouTube states that I said it, YouTube is liable. Yes, YouTube is liable for removing something if they're claiming I said something that I did not say. And I never said there was voter fraud. Done. Now I'm going to get on to January 6th. Now you probably seen the photograph in the very first of this. Yeah, that's me standing with Chad Prather. Yes, that was in November, right after the election. I was in D.C. A matter of fact, I pulled a wagon full of drinks that I was giving away for free to even people not in the protest. I was offering it to Black Lives Matter people that were standing there in opposition of our protest. I was handing it to Antifa members. Why? It was a rather warm day. I figured everybody could use a drink. I had water, I had sodas, and I had everything else. Anything anybody gave me was a tip. It was free. If somebody wanted it, they could have it. I made quite a bit of money that day. But that's beside the point. I probably made about 3 times what the heck the drinks were worth. I walked from the White House to the Capitol building in November. Just a month and a half before January 6th. When we got to the Capitol, we could see the steps. We couldn't enter. There was the same bar fence that they had around the White House, around the Capitol. The non-climbable, it's got PM on the bars. You can't get your butt up there unless you got some really good gymnastic skills to get over the bars and then into the Capitol. Now these were placed about 200-300 feet from the doors. Oh yeah, 100 yards from the doors. So if you got over it, oh my God, there was enough time for the police officers that were there, and there were plenty of them, all in SWAT gear, ready to take any of us down for going inside of those bars. Yes. And that was November, I think it was November 5th, November 6th. It was the Million Trump March. And there was well over 1 million people there. I will tell you that to be God's honest. And I know that because I've seen 1 million people before. That was closer to about 2 to 3 million people. That place was swamped by people. Now, I marched with the crowd And I won't never forget this guy, and he was awesome. He played the Star Spangled Banner on this electric guitar, and it was awesome. I mean, so good. And then this LGBTQ person played the, I don't know, it must have been their anthem right beside him. But guess what? They both played together in harmony. And that was even better because that's the true spirit of America. That's all of us coming together, even though we have our differences. That's all of us coming together for the good of the nation. Yeah, sure, we might not agree on things, but we agree that freedom is the best. And a lot of people want to take that freedom away. I don't know why we honestly think that freedom's going to survive. Censorship is a good way to lose freedom. But considering the fact that in November, there was that 8-10 foot fence 100 yards away from the doors, 100 yards around the building in November. In November. And they knew that there was a high possibility of something stupid happening on January 6th. Now, granted, in November, the House wasn't in session. Congress wasn't in session. You know, they didn't come back till mid-December. And here you have this huge Capitol building. Couldn't get within 100 feet of it. Couldn't get within 100 yards of it. That I seen it. It was there in November for the Million Trump March. It was there. We could get up, we could see the Capitol building, we could not even get close to the Capitol building. And I was there with the crowd. And everybody was sitting there going, that's a public building. Why are we not allowed near it? This is a peaceful protest. We should be able to go right up to the Capitol steps and then leave. Couldn't even get to the Capitol steps. Huh. And that was for a simple march. Okay? How? Then, within a month, very much so, just a little over a month. Well, no, almost 2 months. All the big plow trucks, all the fencing, all the roadblocks. You know, I've seen the pictures from the media from the Capitol building facing out. What happened to all that stuff that was there in November? What happened to little Checkpoint Charlie making sure nobody came inside that fence? What happened to the hundreds of Checkpoint Charlies that were ready for a riot? I mean, they were in full tactical gear ready to take some people out. And you could even tell they had gas grenades on them and everything else. They were ready to stop anybody from coming onto the Capitol grounds. I have a few friends now that are fighting to stay out of jail. And the sad part is, two of them I know. I know so personally that I know that they wouldn't lie to me about this. But literally before the barricades even came down, a police officer invited them into the building. Invited them in before the horde came, because they were removing sections of the wall. They invited them into the Capitol building. This temporary wall took about 8 people to unbolt and move. Why would you be unbolting that wall? Why would you be taking that wall down while Trump's over there giving his speech? You claim that January 6th was the worst day in American history. There's a screw or two loose, and it ain't mine. But I really want you to go back through. Check those videos. Look at that wall. And if you look the Million Trump March and all the video from that, you'll see it. Big black steel bars going straight up in the air. The top part angled out away from everybody. So if you tried to climb it, you had to climb out in order to go up and over. Yeah. Where did that wall go? Where did that temporary wall go that is held in place with concrete block? Why was the security all of a sudden lapsed? What happened to all the guys in SWAT gear? What happened to the bicycle wall barricade where they took the bicycle racks and made a secondary loop on the inside of that unscalable temporary wall? Something fishy. Something rotten in Denmark, as they put it. You know, something just ain't right. 2 + 2 equaled 5 that day. Don't believe me? There are thousands of videos on YouTube. There are thousands of videos of the Million Trump March. You might even see me in one of those videos. I ain't hard to miss. I mean, I was wearing my red Trump sweatshirt. And the guy that actually designed that sweatshirt come up and spoke to me. And he was a cool guy. And guess what? And I hope he's not offended by this if he does watch this. He was black. But I still got that Trump shirt. I love that Trump shirt. That was an awesome design. That's an awesome dude. Thank God for freedom, man. Well, hopefully they don't pull this video. I know it's 20 minutes long. But y'all have a good one.